Public Q&A presents Ask Reddit question. Adults of Reddit, what is something every teenager needs to know? It's okay to say no to anyone. Don't let anyone in your life guilt trip you into doing something you don't want to do or are uncomfortable with. And try to be aware of when you are guilt tripping others. It's exactly as lame to not do something you want to do because it's too mainstream or popular as it is to do something only because it's cool, and the cool kids are doing it. Also, some things seem mainstream to you, just because you like that thing, so you have a lot of friends who do it. For example, I had a friend in high school who was very good at cello, and his parents are luthiers violin makers. Music was his passion, but he felt the field would be too competitive because everyone does it. Well, in reality it wasn't everyone, but his social circle consisted of mostly musicians. So in college he studied environmental science, and hated it. Fast forward, and he is now working in his parents' shop, and learning the family trade of making violins. He still worries about competition in that field, but I think he will be successful, and it's work that he enjoys. Just too bad he threw away that time and money for the college that he didn't really want to do anyway. The measure of whether someone has the potential to be a new friend of yours is not whether they like a bunch of things you like. It is entirely possible to become friends with people who like a ton of things you've never heard of, or even already decided you dislike. You are at a spot in life where a lot of your likes and dislikes are subject to change anyway. Biggest thing: making a new friend often takes time. Lots of time. Much longer than movies and shows make it look like. Find things to do, groups to join, city league sports to play pandemic permitting, or after, and keep learning about the people you see repeatedly. Far too many early 20s people who report having no friends made a premature judgment that one or more prospective friends were off the list, when it just needed a lot more time. Can confirm. My best friend and I have absolutely nothing in common interest-wise, but get along extremely well. Failing is okay. Failure and mistakes are where you are learning. Get a marketable skill. Unskilled labor sucks. You need something that's going to pay you. It doesn't have to be your life's passion, contrary to what my peers were saying at that age, but you do need to be able to tolerate it. And you don't need to go to a university and get a BA to get those skills. 2 years of welding school will get you a better return in investment than most undergrad degrees. My brother is a principal of a US high school. He had a representative of a pipefitters union asked to put up an information table at their school last year, like the colleges and military recruiters do. The school board was against it. They wanted their students to aim higher. My brother successfully argued that this union rep was offering paid training that in a couple of years would lead to a solid mid-5-figure income, in a career that if you went for some of the more attractive certifications like underwater work you could be making 6 figures a couple years after that. The school board was against it. They wanted their students to aim higher. I hate that the US has devalued actual work. Trade jobs can be very stable and lucrative. True, and having trade options encouraged will greatly help some students who are more mechanically inclined than academically inclined. Just because you aren't great at school or prefer working with your hands doesn't mean you can't make good money or be successful. My dad has a high school education and makes more than my mom, who has a PhD. Can we talk about Mike Rowe then? Dude is doing fantastic work in helping Americans reverse that mindset. Not only with the show Dirty Jobs, but also his scholarship program for dirty jobs. Web address. Don't put off dealing with mental health issues. Developing unhealthy coping mechanisms for emotional issues will fuck you up big time down the road. If you have issues, deal with it head on, right away. It can take time, but start the work now. Also, save for retirement. You should open a Roth IRA yesterday. Sometimes it's not just a phase, and your parents, while both very intelligent functional people, are fucking idiots for letting you suffer through 4 years of high school. Don't go to college for more than 2 years unless you're going to finish it. Don't let your bank account yo-yo around zero. Start to save something. At least have $1,000 for an emergency fund. Drinking a little is fine. Drinking at the bar every weekend, or 3x or WK will ruin your health and your wallet. Don't drink and drive. But you are allowed to have fun and nice things sometimes. And sex is not wrong or immoral. Do it, be careful about it. And most social media is a poisonous, toxic, lying bragfest dumpster fire. Don't waste your time except for your immediate friend group. When you get to driving, you need to realize that the laws of physics apply to you. They aren't out to get you, they're just indifferent. Slow the fuck down and don't horse around. You're driving a very heavy machine at speeds we did not evolve to deal with. Be safe. Also, slow down on curves. Friction is your best friend until you reach the breaking point. To add to this, don't brake in curves. Slow down before the curve, then speed up out of the curve. I don't know the physics behind this, but my dad was a police officer and has done some pursuits, and I was told this by my driver's ed instructor who helps instruct police officers too. This is because braking takes away from overall tire grip. Very common fundamental in racing, but can also save your life on public roads where grip is already shitty, especially with stock or old tires. However, this doesn't mean you can't brake at all in a turn. You just have to be wary that there is a limited amount of grip for even the best tires. Piggybacking off of this, always assume that other drivers are out to get you. As some Redditor said, the graves are filled with plenty of people who had the right of way. Same thing goes for conflicts, IMO. I'd much rather ignore a random drunk's verbal abuse than end up dead because I called them out on it. If you don't have a passion, learn new skills. You might find your passion or something you're good at. Good advice. Also, if you do have a passion, embrace it and don't be shy about it. Also, if your passion is something creative like art, design, woodworking, basically anything that has a visual aspect, be ready to expect unjust criticism, accept constructive criticism, and most importantly, reject any sense of overconfidence in yourself. You think you are the best, you tend to not readily accept any criticism and start looking down on the work of others. Expect the criticism. Accept the constructive advice. Reject the propeller made out of poop. If the propeller is made out of poop, people will be none the wiser when shit hits the fan. 2020. Who are you, who are so wise in the ways of science? Unless your passion is having people shit on you or something. Then maybe a sensible amount of decorum about your passions is good. If you are assaulted on campus, notify the police, not campus security. To add to this, if you're experiencing harassment, bullying, or anything that isn't technically a matter for the police, don't stop reporting it to the school until somebody actually listens to you. The first person you talk to at the school may blow you off. Go to the next person up or another department. If they say there's nothing they can do, get them to put it in writing. People are often much more inclined to help if their actions, or lack thereof, are being recorded. No problem. Can I get a copy of that decision in writing? It's for my records and I would like it available in case another party or department refers me back to you. It will save me some time. Suddenly they can help you or will get on the phone to the right people. How to de-escalate difficult situations. And how to disagree with a teacher or someone in authority without sounding like a know-it-all or in a condescending manner. For example, if a teacher says X and you are certain you learn differently, recognize that there may be certain circumstances that you may not realize that changes something. Lead the disagreement with a saying like, "Excuse me, I may be wrong, but I thought or learned Y." This kind of phrasing does not cause the other person to be on the defensive, which can allow gentle new instruction for you, or a graceful or face-saving correction for the teacher. A situation with differing opinions doesn't have to be confrontational. The general advice to not be an asshole will get you further in life than you would expect considering how easy it is. There's more to it than just do not be an asshole, it's also allowing a graceful exit for both parties. The same is true when encountering wild animals. True, and I did not mean to undermine your general point. What you're describing seems more like level 2. I am always amazed people haven't mastered level 1, especially when all it involves most of the time is not going out of your way to make yourself look better or someone else look worse. Great line about wild animals too. I have no idea if it works in practice, but it seems very logical. I didn't read your comment as undermining, I only wanted to elaborate. This thread is golden from a third perspective view. It's a great example of what they are talking about. How meta. I used to teach at a local art college. When I said that Photoshop see 256 levels of gray, he corrected me in an asshole-ish tone. No, there are 255 levels. I politely said no, it's 256. He said even more loudly and more asshole-ish no, it's 255. I politely explained that the scale goes from 0 to 255, and the 0 is the 256th level. Then I said that 256 was the square of 16, and asked the class if they had learned about hex digits yet. From that point on, that student was extra respectful towards me. That numerical range is a common mistake. Kudos for overcoming it. I once had a boss who insisted that 0 to 100 was 100 digits. I had to gently persuade her that it was 101. It took a few tries. She was also a CPA, so had the I understand more about numbers than you ever will attitude, though she never expressed it that way, and we were able to finally see eye to eye. And you can also use similar techniques to resolve or to escalate disputes between others. I graduated 10 years ago from high school, and none of those people are in my life now. So take your time being you and grow your self-esteem and talents now over wasting time trying to impress those pricks you won't even remember in a few months after graduation. Edit. It seems like there is some confusion as to my advice. I am not saying drop your friends. Those are a very important aspect of life, especially in high school. What I am saying is drop the politics and drama of your school. I know it feels like it is the whole world now, but if you let those who try to bring you down, who mock you, who try and pressure you will not be around forever. Worry about building yourself to being the best you that you can become. I still have contact with a few childhood friends to this day, just not really any I made in high school. But all those negative, drama-craving, bullies, and those downbeats in general will not follow you. I graduated 2 years ago, and already lost contact with all of them. Now I am sad about possibly losing my friends after high school because I love them like family. If you're that tight, there's no reason you couldn't maintain some friendships, but distance does really test relationships. I found that the only people from high school I still actively seek out are ones that played games with online, since we do that regardless of where everybody lives. This is what I love about being upcomer. Heck, half the time, we are just hanging around chatting from 2 different places in the US, but still together. At this point, 16 years out of HS, 12 from college, I am still close friends with 1 college friend, none from HS. It's not always like that. My 4 closest friends from high school have stayed close for years later. It depends on who you and your friends are and how much effort you put in. Don't be sad. I graduated over 30 years ago, but am still friends with a few people from high school. Some people are quality. To echo this, I graduated 10 plus years ago, and some of my closest friends are people from high school even after we all went off to different colleges. Keep good people around, and don't spend time on those that don't deserve it. 20 plus years ago for me. I was amazed how many people that had been so important to my social life disappeared. I mean, like by the end of summer, I was down to 5 people lol, by the time I came back to visit in December it was 3. Now, if it weren't for Facebook, I would have lost contact with all but 2 friends from high school. Now I look back on yearbooks or at reunion lists, and I don't recognize anyone's names or faces. Stephanie Who? Edit. Just rereading this again and seeing how many voice-to-text mistakes there are lol. Okay, I am going to go in and see if I can fix this up a little. Start trying to save money now. You will definitely thank yourself later on. Honestly, your teens are the perfect time to begin small on creating good habits that pay off big in the long run. Save and or invest 10% of any money you receive. Create a habit of exercising, even just small exercises every day. Someone else said it, but it is worth repeating. Brush your teeth. Figure out what you enjoy. Read and try a lot of different things. Go to camps or shadow any jobs you think you might be interested in. Sometimes the job you think you'd enjoy, you find out you have no interest in at all. This will save you a lot of money, like studying pre-med and learning you hate healthcare. This is a difficult one as a teen, but try to establish a decent sleeping habit. Preferably one where you wake up early. I feel like I slept my teen years away. Edit. On number 5 I meant going to bed earlier and waking up earlier, not sleeping less. I realize teens need more sleep. Edit 2. Guys, I don't have all the answers. Those were just what came to my head at the moment. Feel free to add additional numbers. Regarding sleep, teens need more of it than adults, and school schedules disrupt their sleep, so don't blame yourself about feeling like you slept your teen years away. No amount of good habits would have changed the fact you needed the extra sleep. Especially those morning hours. Hold yourself to your own standards. If you wouldn't let anyone treat your friends or family like trash, then don't do it yourself. If you feel learning is a positive thing, then learn on the daily. If you value work and security, then give yourself security through work. If you expect others to be intelligent and to care, then you should be intelligent and caring. Hold yourself accountable for how you want the world to be. Be a part of the world you want to live in. Edit. Wow. This stratospherically launched my internet points. Thank you very much, everybody. That feels very nice. I wish you all a great week. XDD. People, employers, etc. will take advantage of your naivete. In many cases this will be illegal. Know your rights, so when the illegal shit happens you can recognize it. On top of that, stay on top of your finances, and don't get into debt if you can avoid it. Living and lawyers both cost a lot of money, and exercising your rights is so much harder if you are financially dependent on the person taking advantage of you. One time I got into a job that's 100% commission-based. No sales, no pay. Turns out it's illegal, and they were supposed to be paying me minimum wage even if I don't make sales. I didn't know until I posted here. But thank fucking God I dipped out the next day. Avoid unpaid internships like the COVID-19 plague. Also, if your home life supports it, you don't need that job. If it's toxic, i.e. bad management, co-workers, etc., just quit. Find another one, and make sure the environment fits you, not the other way around. While you shan't believe those who say these going to be the best years of your life, try to make the most of it, to enjoy the ride. Don't be ashamed of your hobbies and passions. Those who make fun of that can go fuck themselves. Every feeling you have deserves to be expressed in any constructive manner. Don't fear rejection from those you like or love. Tell them, and come what may. Whenever people talk about how these are supposed to be my best years of my life, it makes me sad, because I can't see how this is my peak. Not having fun, I am not experiencing anything and time is passing. Edit. Seeing the attention this got definitely made it a little better though. Don't worry, my teenage years were some of the worst years of my life both at home and at school. Things got loads better into my 20s and 30s. 30s are frickin' awesome, man. You're old enough to no longer care what people think of you, and you're still young enough to have fun. I agree. Your body also starts telling you to take care of yourself, and if you listen, it's like being 20, but mostly sober and with more sleep. Yeah, I even went to my brother's wedding when I was in college, and his best man was like, college will be the best years of your life. I straight up told him I hope not. Everything was fucking awful for me, and after I got out of college, I think I was 23 every year after has been better than the last. I would even argue don't let high school be your best years. How shitty would it be to peak not even 1 or 3 of the way through your average lifespan? Go try new things, meet new people, grow. There's no reason life should end in your teens or 20s. Age gives you different capacities. Sure, you may not be able to party all night anymore, but you'll have the skills and know-how if you try to do a lot of things 20-year-old you couldn't do. Learn a second language. It's good for your brain, and it's a lot easier when you're young. Get active and fit, make it a habit. This is one of the most important ways to stave off cognitive decline as you get older. Plus, it's great for managing mental health during the transition to adulthood. Cashiers don't care if you buy condoms. As a cashier, I only found it funny when a guy came to buy chocolate and a pack of condoms on Valentine's Day. The condoms with a single chocolate rose always cracked me up, especially since the drug store was in between a grocery store with a floral department and a flower shop. As a cashier, I found it funny when a guy bought a pack of condoms and some flowers the day after Valentine's Day. Meh, last year I did day after Valentine's just because her job would have made it difficult for her to arrive before 8 p.m. Really, any point that weekend is fine, doesn't have to be on the day. Wife and I always do a pre or post Valentine Day. Less people out and no insanely priced Valentine's specials. Or if they do, who gives a shit? 30 seconds later something else will happen, and they will literally never think of you again. Same goes for buying period stuffs if you're a girl. Edited. Or if you're anyone. As many have mentioned, buying anything period supplies or condoms, or meds or laxatives, or etc. for the person in your life is kind, and it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. It sucked for me growing up in a tiny town with one grocery store and one tiny drug store. Either the cashier was a best friend of my parents or the girl's parents, or it was a classmate from school. You grew up in one of the few situations where the cashier does care what you buy, unfortunately, and that is why I am a city person in a nutshell. AKA why I live in the next town over from where I teach, LOL. I was a teacher for 34 years. Never lived in the town where I taught. Everyone deserves a personal life. Or buying period stuff if you're a boy. No one will shame you for getting pads for your GF, or mom, or sister, or whoever you buying it for. I am a dude and never understood that stigma. Is it that it's period related, so there's a new factor? Or are some men afraid it will make them seem feminine? I honestly don't know. To add to this, guys buy your GFS tampons, the cashier doesn't care, they're just as dead inside as you. Exactly. Also, what do you think the person will think? Oh, his girlfriend or sister or friend must be on her period, is about the only thing that person would think. And that if he or she even does. Which he or she probably won't even do. Most people probably will just assume you are a caring boyfriend who remembers to buy the tampons she asked you to bring while buying groceries. And isn't that a good thing? I really can't think of anything negative someone would think about it. Nobody will believe they are for you. Nah, surely Op is sticking them up his butt. Man pawns. We all know his secret. Brave of you to assume that I get some action. Trust me, when you do start getting action, you'll need to keep this in mind. Don't be my old roommate who let her boyfriend keep risking it because they were afraid to buy condoms. Being afraid to buy condoms but not being afraid to accidentally get pregnant. Advice is free, and if you respond to it with "I know," then you're probably not going to figure your problem out. I am 17, and I needed to hear this one. Thanks. Train yourself to say "you're right" instead. I do this one all the time. 19 going on 20 in a few, and this also really opened my eyes. Thank you. Seriously. This is a life skill. Learn to listen even if you think you know how to do this particular thing already. You may learn a new way of doing things. Learn to trust your gut when in strange situations. If something feels off or wrong, it probably is. Don't go along with something if it feels wrong. And don't feel bad for not going along. Do what's right for you. And don't belittle someone else for following their gut even if it doesn't make sense to you. I have said this before, but it's important. When someone says you can't do something in life, it means they can't do it, not that you can't. I'll never understand people that shit on anyone's desires, goals, or aspirations. The person you love at May 17th not be the person you love at 30. You change. They change. If you change together and are still on the same path, that's great. But allow yourselves to change, allow them to change, and reassess whether you're simply together for loyalty, or because you still really want a future together with who you both are now. Basically, be willing to let love go. It doesn't mean you didn't love them. You both changed and it happens, and it's kind of sad, but will just open you up to be yourself. In addition, allow your love to change. The love you feel at 17 isn't the only love, and it's not necessarily the best love. Also, your love for someone doesn't increase as they do things for you, it increases as you do things for them. If you feel like you're falling out of love, consider whether you're expecting them to tether you or whether you're holding fast to them. Learn how to cook. It's way cheaper and usually faster than takeout. And does less damage to your health, provided you aren't just cooking out of a box all the time. When you do cook, make sure you know what ways to make the food last and eat moderate amounts. The fact that my mom made a really big meal that could be frozen after helped us out a ton at the beginning of the pandemic when it was hard to buy new food. It may have seemed a bit boring, but we were able to eat good, healthy meals every day because of it instead of having to survive off of ramen. This idea would also help a ton in a low-income situation because you can always have at least a day or two of extra food that won't be bad for your body if you eat the same thing for a while. And if you are eating ramen, remember that it's very salty, and being dehydrated will often make you tired, more hungry, and also a bit irritable. So get used to drinking a healthy amount of water each day, even if you aren't always thirsty. Friend of mine's roommate in college ate literally just like ramen and Pop-Tarts and other crap all of first semester. Dude felt like crap and went to the doctor, who told him he had actual scurvy. The shit pirates got when they were stuck on ships for months. Eat fucking fruits and vegetables, everyone. Fun fact: scars are not permanent things that just stay closed by themselves. It is an active process that your body needs nutrients to accomplish. In the later stages of scurvy, your scars will start to pop open. This is particularly horrifying for me since I have a C-section scar. Holy fucking shit, that is terrifying. It's also exactly what I am going to tell my future kids to get them to eat their fruits and veggies. There's always more to it. Right now isn't the be-all and end-all. Edit. Wowie, thank you for the awards, kind strangers. I will also say that by no means as a teen should your feelings be downplayed, and this is not suggesting that your current issues are minimal. It's important to recognize how you're feeling, but also don't let it consume or dictate how you look towards your future. There is always going to be a better time. To those who reached out to me, keep pushing on. You deserve so much better, will get better, and have exciting things ahead. Yeah, they don't tell you this enough when you're younger. No one explains that adulthood just keeps going. The sun is definitely coming up tomorrow, and it will be a whole new day, same as today. It just keeps happening. You can take that with pessimism or optimism, it really doesn't matter because we're doing it all again tomorrow. Don't sweat the small stuff, soon it will be years in the past. Most of your friends are the product of geographic convenience. Just because you grew up being friends with a neighbor or a fellow student, doesn't mean you owe them your undying loyalty when they start treating you like shit. Yes, it's very possible that you outgrow your childhood friends, or just grow in different directions. At the same time, teens should understand that once your school days are over, high school or college, finding and keeping friends takes so much more effort. Because you don't automatically see them every day. I dunno, some of the best friends I have now I made because we work together every day, lol. One of them is from an old job I had 4 years ago, we remained friends after we both quit. So I mean, it really just depends. Yes, workplaces are the closest equivalent. I have one friend today who used to be one of my clients. We haven't worked together since 2009 or so. The thing with workplace friendship is that you got to tread carefully. Getting shit-faced with someone you worked with 4 years ago equals a okay. Getting shit-faced with someone you currently work with equals error, you got to trust people. Agreed, plenty more landmines in a workplace. Students are all generally of the same rank. In workplaces, that's rarely the case. Most of your friends are the product of geographic convenience. Logically, this must mean that most of my enemies are the product of geographic inconvenience. Well, in a sense, teenage enemies seem so trivial in hindsight, and most issues were caused by forced proximity. I stopped associating with my former best friend of 24 years because she treated me like shit. She treats all her friends like shit, which is why more of them still talk to me than talk to her. She got me evicted last year when we shared a flat. She was inconsiderate. She was in and out of rehab, which obviously is not a reason to stop being friends with someone. I know many people who have been in rehab, who I am still close with, including my brother, but she lied about why she was there each time. Turns out she's actually addicted to opiates, and she stole my painkillers when I had a broken ankle and tendinitis and blamed it on her dog. She was cruel and completely lacks empathy. Also, nothing was ever her fault. She'd sleep with someone's boyfriend and then be confused as to why they didn't want to be friends with her anymore. So yeah, even if you have known someone all your life, even if they are your only friend in the world, luckily I have a few more, it's better to be a bit lonely than compromise your self-esteem and morals clinging to a friendship with someone who doesn't value you. I may miss having someone who I can just hang out with on a moment's notice, and can be a bit depressed about it, but after everyone in my life was like, why are you still friends with this person? I realized I was just clinging to this unhealthy relationship for fear that without it I'd have nothing else. Edit. Went in to fix some typos but then got annoyed about it again, so expanded it again. We know all the tricks, we were teenagers once before Oswell. Sometimes I hear friends saying if I do this trick, my mom would never know. Dude, your mom did that trick. My mom doing tricks is how I was born. And that's how I met your mother. Something that really bothered me in high school was that my parents never trusted me because they always snuck out and stuff at my age. I never did any of that stuff when I lived with them, but they still never trusted me even though I never gave them a reason not to. Oh yep. The bad kids usually grow up to be the strict parents, ironically. I am a teacher, but I was an awful student. But damn, I was charismatic and got away with a ton. I tell my students that. It's been 15 years now, and none of them have used an excuse or pulled a trick that I didn't do at their age but better. The best part is when I let them get away with it, and they come back I tricked you. No you didn't, I let it slide because you're depressed, but I saw right through you. Good advice, but I wonder at your thinking you do it better. What if teachers saw right through you and let it slide like you do now? Every teenager should be taught proper sex ed, how to prevent pregnancy and STIs. They should also do a better job of explaining the differences between real sex and porn, though honestly there are some great instructional videos on Pornhub out there. Edit. And adding consent explicitly, per you or Breadbox 187's pertinent reminder. Consent is as easy as tea. I love this video. This is going to sound cliché, but just be yourself. Having friends is important, but don't act like them just to fit in. You may not entirely know who you are yet, and by not being yourself, you're going to lose your true self in the mix. If you're lucky, it will take many years and a lot of soul searching to even bring back your uniqueness, and then clump that all together to learn who you truly are. I made this mistake. I am 37 now. It took me 20 years to undo everything, because in college and afterwards, I was a chameleon changing my personality with each group of friends I was with. I had no idea who I was. It took a lot of work on my self-esteem to recorrect my thought process. Edit. High school is really tough. As hard as it might be, try not to feed a bully with more ammo. Ignore the person and they'll get bored and move on. Also, try to enjoy life, responsibly of course. You can have some great, fun, and happy years as a teenager. Figure out what activities you love most to do and do them. Hang out with positive people. Put yourself first. You're going to get hurt, but the feelings will pass, I promise. These are all things I didn't do as a teenager. I had a traumatic childhood, and its effects really started to hit me as a teenager. It led to miserable years, when it could have been so much different. I am 21 and learning to be myself. This is great advice. I can relate to the chameleon thing. I was always changing based on who my friends were and still discovering who I am or what I like. Compound interest. It's never too early to start saving for retirement. This. Also, if you are lucky enough to get one in your first real job, then max out your 401k. Your perception of time makes things seem like they take forever to make any progress. If you want to become really good at something, you have to dedicate much more time than your young mind thinks is reasonable to it. Like a lot more. Quit quieting and moving on. Focus, have discipline. It's the hardest thing to at your age, but you can benefit the most. And that perception of time will fool you into believing you don't need to start today. That you can do the thing you want to do today, and put off the thing you have to do. Start a retirement account, learn a new skill till tomorrow or next week, because there's plenty of time. Take a personal finance class. Twitter or any social media is a loaded gun. It's there forever, even if you delete it. There are people in bad situations. This is sad. But not all of them want to be saved from it. We, your parents, are harsh because we want you to make better choices than we did. The wisest of us, though, will let you make mistakes and fail to a smaller degree. 'Cause we know you don't listen. Edit. Some parents truly are assholes. My advice isn't universal in this case, sorry for any confusion. Check out subreddit raised by narcissists to see if yours qualifies. People tell you these are the best years of your life. That's bullshit. Just because you have fewer responsibilities in their eyes doesn't mean your problems are invalid. It was especially hurtful for me to hear that when I was going through depression in high school. I was already at rock bottom, but if it's all downhill from here, what's the friggin' point? It's sad, but it's sort of like an opinion that's stated as a fact. All people have to say is those were the best years of my life. Maybe that's the lesson though, lol. Be ready for a bunch of people to tell you a bunch of shit like it's truth, when there literally is no truth in the first place. Taking stealthy snaps of people without their knowledge to send to your friends to make fun of them actually isn't funny or cool, it's cringy, and you're an asshole. You're not the first person in the world to be a teenager, and feeling like no one understands you or what it's like. We've all been there. Things can and do get better. No one really cares or remembers the petty shit that happened in high school. Do not base your life and personality around social media and the facade that you are trying to create. Live your life in reality. Learn that the world will usually not lend you a hand, so you have to pull yourself up by your own bootstraps, resilience, tenacity, and will. Learn to budget. Do not go into debt over stupid shit, saying you will pay it off later. Do not decide your major or your life choices on what will make your family happy, rather, what makes you happy. Try to enjoy the freedom of not having any bills, not having any major responsibilities. Upvoted just because of C. Cedilla. Based. Avoid debt if possible. Save money. Now. Adulting is way more expensive than you can ever imagine. Never trust a junkie. Everyone is smart, just at different things. People can be book smart or people smart or machine smart, etc. But the difference between successful people and not so much is the application and dedication you give. My nephew is 9 and his dad is already calling him dumb, which is insane because that kid is so quick. He understands things rapidly. But he doesn't like school right now. This is something I just told him. If you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will spend its whole life believing it's stupid. If you judge a monkey by its ability to climb a tree, it will spend its whole life believing it's a genius. If you judge a human by its ability to climb a tree, you probably shouldn't work in education. Never judge a fish by its cover. If you don't brush your teeth, big regrets. Don't talk too much about yourself and your private life and ideas. It will be used against you. Emotionally, you are going to feel better and survive the struggles you are into. Don't breed anger, it will consume your time and energies. Time flies. I am 38 years old, it seems yesterday I was in my 20s. Enjoy the ride, take care of your body, don't listen too much to the wired stuff coming from your mind. Do not take naughty pictures or record videos. Edit. The irony of the username is hilarious, but the more important thing that nobody mentions so far is that there is absolutely no need for people to judge you based on your teenage sexual activity. Ignore sexualized media the best you can, and don't measure yourself based on the size of your naughty bits or how open to sex you are. The OnlyFans or e-girl life sounds intoxicating, but is absolutely draining since you're nothing more than an object to your supporters. PM me your titsballs. I wonder if OP actually gets pictures of tits in their messages. They are cute birds. Ha, today I learned tits are a kind of bird. Can confirm. Once asked a lady to show me her tits, and she flipped me the bird. If you Google boobies, the first link you get is a Wikipedia article about a group of birds. Second on this. Before 18, it only takes one spiteful person, and you can be prosecuted for making and distribution of child pornography, even if it's of you. This literally happened to me. Tried to get my ex done for revenge porn only to be informed that if I were to press charges they would have to investigate me for exactly that. Absolutely awful loophole that meant he ultimately got away with it. Edit. I just want to add some context, thanks for all the support. I was with this guy from the age of 15, or 16, until I was 18. He was in his 20s at the time. In hindsight it was all a bit creepy and inappropriate, but I was young and very much in love. I took many pictures for him, most under the age of 18, and he kept every single one. I later found out he has kept all his ex's nudes, which is creepy, but beside the point. Anyway, relationship turned very nasty and emotionally abusive very quickly, cue a nasty breakup. I called the police for a few reasons. He wouldn't stop showing up on my street, etc., and ultimately when I rejected him again he uploaded all sorts of nasty things about me, including refusing to delete my pictures. I had asked him to delete them before, and he claimed they were his property, and he would do what he wanted with them, so God knows where they are floating around now. So I called the police. And they said that I was at fault for distributing child pornography, and they would have to fully investigate me. I was absolutely devastated. I was 18, and an adult, and I had no idea what that meant for me legally and in the future, so I left it. The UK, revenge porn laws I don't think were so good a couple of years ago, so nothing came of that at all. As other people have said, I think they just wanted me out of the way. Ultimately he did get investigated for talking to other minors, but nothing of consequence came of it, and I can't afford a restraining order, so I do live in constant fear of seeing him around as he followed me to the uni I go to. TLDR, don't take nudes, especially if you are underage. You will be held responsible should it go wrong. I wonder if they truly had to or just wanted you to go away. Hey, let's talk about that name. It's hard to make new, meaningful friendships as an adult, so don't take the good friendships you have for granted. Life moves very quickly after leaving school. Years go by so quickly. Edit. Just wanted to say, holy crap, 20k upvotes. I have never had more than 100 before, so thank you. A lot of people have been saying this scares them. Please don't be scared. Adult life is great, but you just have to keep yourself active and doing different things. Just make sure to appreciate everything you have, and try not to have regrets. I heard a saying once that always felt apt. The older you get, the longer the days, but shorter the years. Personally, I would say don't rush to grow up. Many don't have the luxury. Being child is such a small % of your lifetime, that don't let it pass you by. Before you know it, you will have responsibilities. But for now, take good care of your health, eat well and not on fast food, learn to cook and study hard so that one day you can enjoy a meal cooked by someone else. Travel when you are able to and see the beauty of the world before marking it down as a lost cause. Edit. Thank you, user Lurker1 who lurks, for the hug, much appreciated. I am honestly just at the opposite at this point. I just started college and I have had nothing but anxiety. I am just trying to rush though these next 3 years and GTFO ASAP, so that I can actually have a healthy peace of mind and enjoy my life. It does get easier, but not by an extreme margin. Enjoy the moments of fun that you can presently when possible, and go smell the roses a bit. Once you hit over 30 they go from quickly to really fast. An co-worker is reaching retirement and said the other day he wondered where all the years have gone. A professor in university told or warned us to enjoy our time in university. I just took those words without much thought. But now that I am older, I am regularly wondering how it's night already, when I had just woken up 5 days ago. So true. I miss those days of infinite possibilities. Yeah, and then you start thinking about some of your memorable teachers, and how when you were their student they were younger than you are now. Always blows my mind to think about. I am 31, and the fact that I only have to live the past 15 years, the time since I left school another 2 times, before I am 60, scares the shit out of me. Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while you could miss it. The mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. Mitochondria is a fantastic prison name. Who would want to battle the powerhouse of the cell? Money. Save it. Even if it's a little bit. You don't need the latest and greatest of every widget to exist. Remember, at one point your widgets were the greatest. Don't try and keep up with your neighbors. Relationships. Don't burn bridges, no matter how obscure they are. It might be satisfying to get shit off your chest and tell people off as you're leaving a gig or a job, but it's a really small world. Really. You will be shocked at how connected everyone is these days, and who talks to who. Be kind. Read Dale Carnegie's book How to Win Friends and Influence People. There are some audiobook versions on YouTube you can listen to. Some of the examples are out of date, like letters and calling cards. But the sentiment is not. It is single-handedly the keys to success in interpersonal relationships at work, school, or in your love life. Listen more than you talk, and don't just wait for your time to talk in a conversation. Self-help or self-improvement. Always improve. Read a book. Keep a journal occasionally. It's good for reflection on how far you've come. Sex is awesome. Babies are forever. Use protection if you're not ready for them. I love mine, but I am 30. You might not want a baby until later, if you even want one at all. Don't put it on a pedestal. If it's the only reason you're into someone, chances are that relationship isn't going to last. STDs are mostly permanent. Just wear a condom or make your partner wear one. People have sex. Don't shame people for the number of partners they have had or haven't. In fact, nothing good comes out of even asking someone you're interested in the question of how many women they've slept with. Cars. You don't need the greatest car in the world. Don't waste your money on a new car. One owner trade-in if you're looking for new fancy tech. 7-year, 70k mile, $7,000 price tag is about the car you should be chasing. Learn how the car works. Don't be afraid to get a second estimate for car repairs. Car insurance is stupid expensive, and the it drops at 25 is a myth. Don't let people borrow your car. You're liable for whatever happens. Don't cheap out on tires or brakes. If you have tire or brake problems with your car, get them fixed. Drugs or alcohol. If you do drugs, don't make it your life. Pot is not a lifestyle, it's a drug. Nobody likes that guy who doesn't shut up about drugs. Same goes for booze or liquor. Some shit will seriously ruin your body, just be careful. Learn your limits and stay within them while drinking. Nobody likes a drunk. Don't get behind the wheel of a car after drinking. This will ruin your life. Have a plan. A $200 taxi trip is way cheaper than bail and legal fees for DUI or DWI. Job satisfaction. Don't stay in a job you hate. Find something you can enjoy. It sounds silly, but it helps to find something positive about your line of work. If you can't, work towards a new career. Value yourself and your time. Don't let work walk all over you. Clothes. Wash them, learn to do laundry regardless of what gender you are. Don't worry about brands. Buy brands because they are quality, and last, don't buy clothes that have excessive rips and tears. Oh god, I sound old. I promise they were super cool to me when I was a teen. Clothes get really expensive. Buy something dressy, but not too flashy. Button down with a tie, matching slacks, a belt, and some dress socks or shoes. Make sure it fits. If you can afford it, get something dark or neutral colored for attending funerals, and something pleasant for attending weddings. These clothes don't have to be really expensive. Mental health or fitness. Check in on your friends. Vent to professionals, not to your friends. Smile often, it helps. Life is awesome, it gets better, and this too shall pass. Time really does heal all wounds. It may be miserable now, but it will get better. Go for a walk every now and then. Go to the gym if you want to. You don't need to be a gym rat to be in decent shape. ABS are made in the kitchen, not on the ab-roller or crunch machine. Don't eat like shit because you can't out-train a bad diet. After high school, life gets a whole lot better. For anyone else who is feeling uncertain. Web address. Well, I am going through high school, I hope this is true. Oh, it's 100%. You don't realize until later how much of your life in high school is decided for you, and once you are an adult that becomes so much less true. You can literally do anything you want. But you can't do that if you don't have options or know what those options are. So for now, save as much money as you can, so when you are out of school, you can choose what to do next. College. Travel. Vocational school. Move away somewhere. All easier with money and good life skills. Wow! You are still with us. Thanks for being such a nice person. As long as you are here, why not like this video and subscribe to our channel? Also, you can press the bell icon, so you won't miss any future uploads.